Good morning, Integrated 3. For period 1, I know it's getting posted mid-period. That's because I just found out from Ms. Wiggins that you all are doing something new today. I thought today was a review day. But that said, I am quickly going to make this video so that way you have the video. One thing I want to mention real quick, the test grades are in. So look at your grades from test 1 and 2. Let me know how I can help for 1. For 2, I'm going to put in zeros for everyone that has not yet taken the test yet. So if you haven't taken a test, that's fine, and you can still take it for full credit. But in the meantime, your grade is going to drop. I hadn't done that yet because I didn't want to tank everyone's grades right before those progress reports came out, or quarterly grades, whatever they call it. So because of that, if you haven't taken a test yet, your grade might drop, but I'm just doing that to encourage you to go ahead and take that test, so that way December doesn't come around and I have people trying to make up 5 tests because they're all freaking out because I just put in the zeros. So I'm doing that now, or within the next couple of days, so just make sure that you make up tests that you need to make up. All right. Today we are writing linear functions, and our first one here is talking about defining a dependent variable. All right. So a dependent variable is the variable that is directly affected by whatever we're measuring, by like a change in whatever we're measuring. All right. So in this case, it says he rents bikes for $10 just to start out, plus an extra 4 for every hour. All right. So the dependent variable here is going to be the cost, right? Because the independent variable is the time, and cost, it depends on how long we're going to bike for. Right, like the amount of money I'm going to spend depends on whether I get the bike for 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. All right, so my dependent variable is cost, and we'll just use C to mean cost. All right, and it says write a function to represent total cost. Okay, one side note real quick, dependent variables, things, whenever you see cost, that's going to be your dependent variable. All right, so when we're working through problems like this and you see cost and it asks for a dependent variable, it's going to be cost. All right. And then represent the total cost of a rental. So it's going to be cost equals, think we're writing an equation. It's like this. It's going to be some line, y equals mx plus b. But, right, this time we're defining our own variables. So instead of y, we're using c because we're wanting to define the cost, representing the total cost, equals, and then we have to figure out what to plug in for m and for b. So M is going to be that rate. So it says $4 per hour. The key word here that you're looking for is per. Whenever you see this word per, that is going to be your slope. So your slope is 4. Don't ever plug anything in for x. We'll just leave that x there. Or I suppose what we could do if you wanted to, you could change it to a different letter. Don't change it to a number for these types of problems. I'll use h just because it's $4 per hour. Right? Like instead of y, I'm using c because this is based on cost. And instead of x, I'm using h because it is per hour. And then b, that's just going to be your starting fee. So plus 10. So if I want to interpret this equation, think about what this says. I am saying that my total cost is $4 per hour plus the 10 that I started out with. That's what that is saying. All right. And then it says, what is the total cost to rent for 6 hours? So I've got this equation, C equals 4h plus 10, and we know that hours is equal to 6. So in place of the h, I can plug in a 6. So I'll say the cost is 4 times 6 plus 10, right? Because what I'm doing is I'm plugging that 6 in for hours. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 10 is $34. And right, notice we're talking about cost, so that will be in dollars. Okay, and then now, if the total cost is 42, how many hours? So now we know what C is, and we are going to solve for H. Right, again, we're using that equation that we built, and we know that the total cost is 42, and we want to find H. We want to know how many hours. All right, so let's solve for H. We'll subtract 10 on both sides. And then we'll get 32 equals 4h, and then we'll divide by 4, and we will get 8 equals the number of hours. All right. Next one. It says we've got a $25 reservation fee and $12 per participant. Oh, shoot. Define our dependent variable first. Again, it's going to be cost. Anytime you see cost, that's your dependent variable. Okay. It says $12 per participant, and it's per person. All right. So I'm going to say cost equals 12 per person, right? That word with per, with a number that's next to per, that is your key, that is your slope. It's the one that is attached to the variable. And then plus that initial $25 fee. All right, so whenever you see things like a flat fee, a registration fee, anything like that, those are acting as your y-intercepts. Those are your start points. So if I want to interpret this equation that I just wrote, what I'm saying is that the cost is $12 per person plus the $25 it takes just to make that initial reservation. Even if I'm only taking like one person or two people, I still got to make that $25 reservation fee. Okay. And then we've got, okay, and then it says, what would the total price be if he has 15 people coming? All right, so I got my equation, 12p plus 25, and I know that p is equal to 15 people. It's $12 per person, and there are 15 people. So notice, right, in place of p, I am substituting 15. All right, so 12 times 15 is 180, plus 25 is $205. And then this time, if we know the price, and we want to know the number of people, party size is asking for number of people, right? So I got my equation, we got 6 equals 12p plus 25, but this time, we know what the total cost was, right? It was 133, and we want to solve for p, which is the number of people. All right, so I'm going to subtract 25 on both sides. That gives me 108 equals 12p, and then we'll divide both sides by 12, and that will give us 9 equals p. So that means that 9 is the number of people that are in his group. All right, I'm going to post this so that way period 1 you have something to look at, and then I am going to go ahead and make a second video for the worksheet.